Welcome everybody. My name's Marilee Burnett and I am back again with the astrology tea for the week of June 24th of 2024. For those who are new to my channel, welcome. And if you would be so kind as to click on that subscribe button right there, and that way you'll get notified each time I upload new content, which I do daily with the shorts. And then I do weekly content with my tarot card readings as well as this Astrolesson. So hope to see you again next week. Now, this is the last week of June. We are going to be halfway through the year. And as we are doing this recording, we are just within days of the first full moon in Capricorn. And we have some pretty significant energy shifts that are coming up, all about the retrograde with Pluto. And so I am going to talk about that a little bit this week. Even though the energy isn't exact, there is things that are starting to bubble up beneath the surface. And as we get into next month's full moon in Capricorn, things are really going to get interesting. But here we are, the last week. I would say we are 6 months from Christmas. Unbelievably, we've been 6 months since Christmas. This year's flying by for sure. So we're going to talk about it all. I'll break it all down for you day by day. I, of course, use the Astro Gold. That's what I have up on the screen for those of you who like to follow along. And we will, as usual, get kicked off with Monday. So I have in front of you here the energy of the week. Blue energy is energy that's supportive. Red energy is a little bit more difficult. And the green energy is, quite frankly, a little bit weird and strange and can be uncomfortable and can be just unusual. So that is Mars in Taurus making an odd angle. It's called inconjunct or quincunx. And that means there's something about the past. It could be a relationship from the past. It could be lessons about relationships, about the law. All those types of things with this South Node in Libra are being activated by Mars, but not directly. So it's like somebody comes through a side door and does something, or you do something unexpected and unusual, all related to something from the past. So that is really going to be unusual, and it may just be somebody does something literally unusual in the financial markets. But it's not a good day to experiment with your beauty routine, because things would not go as expected. Also, you'll see that the moon now is in the sign of Aquarius, and that means it is speaking in harmony with the nodes. So there is something that you really need to pay attention to. Maybe it's a friend that has advice to give you that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to and listening to, because fate has some lessons, fate has some opportunities, and you just want to be able to show up. Now, at the same time as this interesting conversation is going on between Mars and the South Node and the moon and the nodes, that means the moon will be also squaring to Mars. So there's definitely some kind of interesting emotional charge to the energy on Monday that is all about getting you to make a change, make a move. And it could have something to do with your values, with your money. You might really want to do something drastic when it comes to your beauty routine, because these are all Venus themes, which Mars is in Taurus, which is the sign that Venus rules. Just be more curious than active on Monday if you can, and really tune in to make sure, what is all this energy trying to push me to change? Now, you may have gotten some insight last week when Mercury was having that difficult conversation with the nodes. So there's something you've been needing to change your mind about, or there's some conversation that was had, and maybe this is the next part of that. But Monday proves to be a very interesting day. Fate is definitely leading the way. So tune in and trust your intuition. The moon in the sign of Aquarius, again, is energy that can be a little weird and awkward. it can also be pushing us to be of service or join some kind of group, right? So keep me posted on how your Monday goes. Let's take a look at Tuesday. Now, what you're going to see start on Tuesday is Venus's conversation, the same difficult conversation that Mercury had last week. Venus comes through to have also with the nodes, and squares mean something about our fated path, lessons, journey is needing to make a change. And as I mentioned, Venus is about love and beauty and money. There can be money issues with family with Venus in the sign of Cancer. Could be money issues related to your home. This could be ancestral money. Maybe there's something about inheritances, but something has to change. And you may start to get an idea of what that is on Tuesday. And with the moon also moving through Aquarius and then having a difficult conversation with Uranus, also in Taurus, there's something again that's difficult that you have to move away from, that you have to make some kind of a change. So that begins to pick up on Tuesday. But as we move into Wednesday, the energy gets more exact. So now we have Venus at 11 degrees. We have the South Node at 11 degrees. We have the North Node at 11 degrees. And of course, we'll even at some point have the Moon at 11 degrees. So that's a lot of 11-11 energy, right? Those are about portals opening, which again means we need to do something. We need to step through. We need to be in charge of making whatever these changes are. But fate, through these North Node and South Node activations, is, setting up the opportunity, but we have to take the action. We have to be the one that makes the change. So on Wednesday, that becomes more intense. Now the moon is in Pisces. So again, very intuitive, very emotional, energy that's very sensitive. That's all available to us. And then the other thing that is important on Wednesday is this conversation between Mercury and Saturn. So both are in water signs. They are meeting in energy that's supportive. And this is where Saturn is really beginning to slow down and get ready to go retrograde. So that means whatever is being shown to you, whatever's coming up, there's real work to be done. This isn't like a quick hit from Uranus and everything starts falling apart. This is the beginning of an idea, a beginning of a plan, and a beginning of restructuring. Because as soon as Saturn slows down to go retrograde, we're going to have to review everything. Now, Saturn is going to go retrograde and go back over all the territory that it's been covering since the spring equinox. So think March 21st timeframe. What have you been working on with Saturn since March? And what do you need to go back over and look at in more detail and slow down? Maybe what do you need to restructure? Have you been working on having good, healthy boundaries? Is there a relationship issue that you've been working on? Because now you really have to slow down and get serious about doing the work. And something Mercury shows us, because Mercury rules the mind, is all about what this work is. Now, could it have to do with home and family? It is Mercury in the sign of Cancer. Is it something to do with real estate? Is it something to do with women, right? We've been in the news a lot, things going on with women's rights. So this energy goes on through November before Saturn will move forward, which of course will take us through the election. So this could all have to do with more opportunities for women to stand up and fight for their rights. So, of course, everybody's lesson and opportunity can be unique to them as well. But we are going to see some shifts this next week, and our attention will be called to the things that we need to work on and that we need to start making significant changes on. So that gets us to Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, we're just going to notice the energies continue. There isn't anything new or exact on this day. We move into Friday, and Friday is when we see some additional difficult conversations with Mercury, again, still in the sign of Cancer. And this time, the difficult conversation is happening with the asteroid Chiron. Now, Chiron can show us our wounds. It can show us what we need to heal. And again, the square is something that we need to do differently in order to heal those wounds. Of course, Chiron in Aries is all about the wounds that, we have to our self-image, to our ability to be, strong and independent. So there can be difficulties within the family. Somebody within your family may not be supporting you moving out and being on your own. There could be conflicts as a result of that. So just be careful, right? You don't want to get into an argument because you have a difference of opinion. What you want to be doing is listening to what the other person has to say. But ultimately, all this Aries energy has been doing for us with Chiron, with North Node, and of course the moon will be in here with the North Node too, is teaching us that no matter what matters most is what we want, what we think is right, and what's best for us, right? We're moving away from the South Node, relating so much to other people that we give up what we believe in, right? And so that's not what we're trying to do at this time. We are being strong and standing up for ourselves and what it is that we want. The other thing that happens on Friday is the moon, as I mentioned in Aries, is also having a positive conversation with Jupiter and Gemini. So this is where there is the potential for there to be some healing conversations between you and your family, between you and the other side, right? Gemini is both sides, the light, the dark, and it's communication. And Jupiter's helping us expand our mind, expand our ideas, expand our ability to communicate with one another and to learn, right? Learn from the ability that we have to speak our minds and to speak with each other. So it's a really big emotional day where conversations can be very emotional from the collective perspective as well. There could be some abrupt conversations and information that comes up on this day. So the other thing that gives us hope is this energy of Venus speaking in harmony with Mars. So these are the lovers of the zodiac. When we have Venus, what we love, and Mars, what we're passionate about, and they're coming together, this could be, the answer to whatever the conflict is, right? Is there is something or someone that supports you and loves you no matter what. And that's where you should probably be putting your time and attention versus arguing with people that you're never going to convince to think like you think or to believe what you believed. And don't waste energy in that space. Focus on what you love, what you're passionate about, and spend time with people like that. If you're feeling uncomfortable, just stop trying to force something to happen that just is not going to happen and it isn't going to change. But if you want to change something, stop letting other people control how you feel about yourself and stop letting other people hurt your feelings because only you can give them that power. So this would be a good day on Friday to take your power back and to resolve the conflict by just stop disagreeing. Just let them think what they want to think and move on. All right. As we get into Saturday, what we see on Saturday is that ability to break free from whatever this situation is all week long happens for you on Saturday. And that's when Mercury in Cancer is speaking in harmony with Uranus and Taurus. And so this is that energy of movement, of surprise moves, surprise conversations, unexpected conversations, but in a way that's positive. It's a sextile. So the energy of surprise isn't abrasive. It could be a happy or a pleasant surprise for you as well. So at the same time, on this day, this is when that Saturn energy will specifically station to go retrograde. So all those things that I mentioned at the beginning with what has the journey been since March that you've had Saturn in Pisces doing for you? What have you been working on? Because Saturn says do the work. And then Saturn says, once it goes retrograde, now it's time to take a second look. What is it that you still need to tweak? Where are your foundations weak? Where do we need to go back into that? Where's your faith, right? This is Saturn in the sign of Pisces. What are you doing with your creative gifts? Are you working on your creative gifts? Because now's the time to get into all the details and to dig in, right? Saturn in Pisces retrograde is a little bit like Saturn in Virgo, where you've got to go over all the details. You've got to build really, really strong foundation for yourself, and you have to have excellent boundaries, right? It's dot the I's, cross the T's. So if you've been waiting to create some kind of content, very spiritual worker, and you've been thinking in your mind this whole time, what do I want to create? Now would be the time to get to actually doing the creating. Not putting it out there, but doing all the work and all the research on whatever that is. And then, of course, it's whatever has been showing up for you since Saturn's been going through Pisces. Now it's the review period that you have to really dig in and think about. And as I mentioned, it stays retrograde until mid-November. So this whole review period of taking a look at all the things that are beneath the surface, right? Pisces is a water sign. This is everything to do with your emotions and your feelings. Your subconscious mind is in the energy of Pisces. Your connection to spirit, your dreams. Your dreams could become very interesting again as Saturn goes retrograde. And you notice it the most at the beginning of the retrograde energy, and then you'll notice it as it makes individual contact with any planet. So did it hit any of your personal planets when it was going forward since last March? Because now they're getting a second hit. So you really want to spend some time reflecting on what was that work that was showing up and what do I now need to go back and review again. And this aha moment, if you're sitting here going, I don't know what it was, is what could be inspired by this connection of Mercury in Cancer and Uranus in Taurus. So these are big aha moments, and jot them down, journal, all those things, because even if it doesn't completely make sense to you right now in the moment, it may shortly. And then you also still have Mars and Venus working together. So this just can help you feel loved, motivated, and passionate about the work that you need to do. All right. So that's the biggest energy that we have going into this week. What I think you want to be paying attention to is whatever is coming up to be concluded as a result of that full moon in Capricorn that we had last week. That one happened at 1 degree. This second one is going to happen on July 21st at 29 degrees. So there's some very final ending that's coming up. And the work is very much tied to Pluto's retrograde that started last January as far as the forward movement went. So around the 19th, the 20th, we started to see what was changing between Pluto being at 29 degrees of Capricorn and then entering into 0 degrees of Aquarius. So there is some storyline for the collective and for us individually that these full moons are activating for us. And then it is September 2nd that Pluto will be fully entrenched in that work. And Pluto works beneath the surface, right? So this is the time to really spend reflecting on where you've been so far in this year. And what commitments did you make to yourself, and where are you on those commitments? And maybe where do you dig in and do more work? So these next few months this summer, it won't be boring. That's all I can say. Now, if you need help working on your subconscious mind, where you're stuck, where you're blocked, I am also a hypnotherapist. If you haven't seen all of the things that I have out there for you for free, go check them out. Just if you're stressed, it doesn't even matter which one you pick out. Just pick one and go listen, and you'll relax, and you'll probably fall asleep, and you'll wake up super refreshed. And sometimes just feeling refreshed helps you be able to tackle whatever's in front of you. So also, you can book a session with me, and I'd love to help you. So next week, we're going to start seeing even more shifts, because we're going to start to see the next conversation that was first had by Mercury, then Venus. Now it's the sun's turn, our ego self, where we're shining a light in the world, that is changing as it has that difficult conversation with the nodes. So that is going to cause a shift. And then we're also going to start to see Venus have a really important conversation with Saturn. So this could be love from the past, a commitment to the past, something's getting stirred up. And then we will see Mercury move into the sign of Leo. So much more to come on next week's video as well. But again, if you want a preview, because this will move us into July, go check out my articles for July. July, the whole month is down. So is the new moon and the full moon. So is August. And I'm almost done with September. Probably by the time this video is posting, I'll have the last tweaks done to my September articles as well. So I just have been strongly encouraged and motivated to keep information ahead and forward for you. Like this really takes careful planning. And it is important that you're always looking ahead as all this transitional energy is coming up for us. So that's just, my guides have been keeping me going. I just don't know exactly why, but I just know I'm highly motivated to get everything out as early as possible for all of you. So I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please like, please comment, please share this with other people. Love to have you come work with me to help transition through all of these changes that are upcoming, and give me your ideas on anything else I can do to be of service to you all. All right. That's our messages for the week. Thanks for joining me. Have a really great week. Keep me posted on all your activities, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.